Herzlich willkommen zu The Orange Podcast. Mein Name ist Benny Krüger und wir zeichnen auf aus den Räumen des Ellington Hotels, wofür wir uns sehr bedanken möchten, genauso wie für die bereitgestellten Drinks aus der hoteleigenen Duke Bar, die ich und mein Gast während des Gesprächs genießen durften. Aber im Ellington Hotel kann man nicht nur Drinks genießen und Podcast aufzeichnen. So findet an jedem Freitag von 15 bis 19 Uhr das Champagner-Special Thank God It's Friday statt. Direkt im Anschluss daran gibt es Live-Musik in der Ellington Jazz Bar. Außerdem findet an jedem letzten Sonntag im Monat der Cigar Circle statt. Aber während ich hier noch lang und breit auf Deutsch referiere, werden wir gleich ins Englische wechseln, denn mein Gast ist die großartige Andrea Motis, die 24-jährige Sängerin und Trompeterin aus Barcelona, die am 26. und 27. Oktober hier im Ellington Hotel im Rahmen der Konzertreihe The Orange Room in Zusammenarbeit mit Jazzradio auftrat. Ich sprach mit ihr am Tag nach ihrem ersten Konzert. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Andrea Motis, nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Where to start? Maybe you see we built up very fancy stuff.
I see.
I don't know, it's by the Ellington Hotel. The Ellington Hotel thought maybe you could get some alcohol as an icebreaker, because I thought to make you drunk is maybe the best icebreaker.
Come on.
So if you're interested,
in
every
this
time
hour
we
in
can.
the morning.
Yeah, we can start every time with drinking hard stuff, but maybe first with less alcoholical topics. Yesterday you had your very first concert.
Yes.
Here in Berlin in the Orange Room. How was it?
It was very crowded and it was quite impressive because I thought it would be a little room and club. And yes, we played with the same quintet we've been playing for 10 years. And we did a music program that was basically inspired in the two last albums and some other swing stuff and some other songs that maybe we have not recorded yet. But it was like a comfortable program. Some song in Catalan too, very wide range of things. Mm-hmm. But we enjoyed it very much and I think, it was cool.
Yeah, you mentioned the crowd, so would you say there's something like, how is it to play before in front of smaller audience or such a big audience? Is there a difference?
Yeah, sometimes because lately we've been playing in very different places, and when people is closer, sometimes it's more private, situation, but also can be more challenging because you have people so close that sometimes intimidates you a little bit more. And in wider places, it's can be more powerful, but also it can be more cold because people is far away from you, and also there's a mass of people, and it's not that quiet sometimes, or can be different vibe.
Would you say you prefer a smaller audience or?
No, well, I'm very glad that I have the chance to play in both spaces and different kind of countries and situations every day. I mean, we play very often, and I'm very glad to be able to play in different situations. I liked it. That it's always a surprise.
You said I was very impressed to make the introduction in German.
Yes.
Do you speak German or was just for
this one
introduction?
No, mein Freund ist von Österreich. Und
okay.
dann ich verstehe ein bisschen, aber I speak a very little.
That's why we turned into English, of course. You said you played the very first time in Berlin, is that right?
Yes, that's right. And also I've been here the very first time for this occasion. I never been here even for holidays.
Okay.
It was very beautiful. We had one day before to visit the city and it was very beautiful. I like it.
But you already played in Germany?
Yes, I've been playing lately. Not long ago we played in Ebersberg and we played in Ebe Jazz with the great Scott Hamilton as a guest. Uh-huh. We also have played in Munich, and some other cities, but I don't come here very often.
What's your impression of Berlin so far?
It has some similarities to Barcelona, as for the underground city and the contemporary art or the street art. I feel that is modern city, but on the other side it also has. I'm very used to Vienna and Austria and, in, German countries, let's say, and there's also this more classical part too, somehow. And also for the food and the culture, it feels more like, to me, to like more similar to Vienna somehow, the food and these things.
Interesting.
So it's a mixture, more or less.
Yeah, how much? If you're on tour, like this weekend now, with being arriving at the airport and then going to location and then to have your rehearsal, so to make first test. Yeah. How stressful is it? How much can you really see something from the city, or have you really take your time and say, okay, now I want to go out and see something from the city, or how do you manage
normally we don't have time to visit the cities where we go normally, and also because we are traveling very, very much, or we are not spending a lot of time at home. So for me, it's better not to feel like all the time. Sometimes it's good to stay in the hotel just as you would stay at home, because it feels more like you have to try to feel a little bit like in your place, even if you're in somewhere else in a hotel. It feels good, to have a little bit of routine even. But in this occasion, we had an extra day, and then it felt good because and also because it was my first time here, and also my father is here with us, and he was visiting the city not long ago, so he could show us a little bit here around.
Oh, okay.
And it felt good. It was special this time. And I like it when we have more time.
What did you see? What did he show you?
We saw the monument, the Holocaust.
Yeah.
I don't know the name in English, but we saw the monument of the Mezquita. We saw the different churches and cathedral here. We went up.
Oh, okay. Which one?
What's the name? ¿Cómo se dice la catedral de aquí? ¿Quién viste la
catedral? Berlin.
Berlin Cathedral. Cathedral. What's the name for that?
We've got Berlin Dome.
Yes.
This one.
Yes, I think so.
Near the place.
Digue'm on que està allà.
De la plaça que hi ha principi
de
la com es diu la plaça aquella?
Yeah, and in the Alexanderplatz.
And then probably the Berliner Dom.
Berliner Dom, yeah. So we went
That's
up.
Next to, maybe you saw there's a Humboldt Forum, the new building, the new museum.
What's the name?
Humboldt Forum.
Yes, but yes, and there are many museums too there.
Yeah. Museum Island.
Yeah, it was very beautiful, and also it has great views. It was the afternoon, and it was very, very cool. And also we went eating around in a gypsy restaurant at night, and a traditional restaurant in the midday for Mittagessen.
Yeah, for German food?
Yes, we ate currywurst.
That would be my question. What could be more traditional than currywurst here in Berlin?
Okay. Yeah, so we had this. And just also we did a lot of walking around, and also we visit the Rosen Rosengarten,
okay.
And these galleries that are inside the buildings, and yes, and also the Jewish neighborhood.
Okay.
We went through these places too. There are many shops and things there. Yeah, so we were more walking.
Yeah. Did you bought something?
I don't think so. Not.
I already mentioned you played a song in German.
Yes.
Also, you did not only make the introduction you made in German, and you played a song yesterday in German.
Yes.
That, of course, I think it was a big surprise for the audience.
Okay.
At least I was quite impressed. First of all, you do a lot of different languages. How many languages do you speak?
I only speak 3. I speak Catalan, Spanish, and English.
Yeah.
Like fluidly, more or less. But yes, I'm trying to learn German. I can understand something, but I don't really speak for the moment. But I can sing in Portuguese because I've been listening to it a lot. I can understand some more or less, and I try to, I've been singing it for a long time and learning words, and I can sing. And some songs I can sing them in French. I also learned one in Italian, and this one is the first one I sing in German.
Maybe for the viewers it was Mackie Messer, Mac the Knife by Drei Groschen Oper.
Exactly.
So did you ever watch the whole opera?
No, but I wish maybe one day in Vienna I should.
Yeah.
I would love to. Yes, but yes, and it also has many parts. This song, Mackie Messer, 6 or 7 lyrics for that.
Yeah.
So I maybe try some more tonight.
Yeah, if I remember right, you just repeated the very first.
Yes,
right? Yeah.
Yes. It's challenging to swing in German, I would say.
Okay.
Because it's another rhythm of the language.
No, I mean the cliché is that German maybe is not that harmonic as a language. So would you agree?
But also in Catalan, it's not very natural to swing in Catalan, I would say.
Really? Okay. But do you see some kind of similarities?
No, I think Catalan is more, the vibe feels more like Portuguese. So that's why some bossa novas work very well in Catalan. But I said to my boyfriend, we should try to see how it feels with a bossa nova in Deutsch. It would be interesting.
Also, I'm very surprised that you're saying you're not speaking Portuguese, because you recorded a whole album on Portuguese. And how is it to sing in a language that you're not actually speaking? So it's some kind of challenging?
But I've been doing this all my life, because I started singing English since ever. I started learning jazz and singing lyrics in English, even when I couldn't really speak very fluidly. I was... I knew a little bit, but I wasn't really fluid in English. But I already sung a lot in this language. And afterwards, I think also singing in this language helped me, and listening to music in English helped me a lot to then learn more and understand more and then speak more. And probably if I would go to Brazil or Portugal for 2 months or something, I would end up knowing how to speak, probably because I've heard it and I can understand most of it. So it's just, I never spent time on learning the language to speak, but it would help me a lot. But the feeling is more or less like in English, because at the beginning I could sing in English and not speaking.
Okay.
Yeah, and now with German, I could learn more songs in German maybe. Yeah. And then, actually, I sung one song that's Vienna from Billy Joel.
Okay.
And lately I saw a version in Österreichisch Deutsch, and it's funny in Wienerisch, in Deutsch. And that would be another song, maybe the next one.
Maybe I got one more question regarding the Portuguese stuff, because there's one song I noted it. I hope I can pronounce it in the right way.
Yeah.
Pra que discutir com Madame. It was a credible tempo, a credible speed. How to sing it?
Yes. Yesterday especially was very fast, too fast.
Faster than normal.
Yeah.
What is the song about? What?
It talks about a woman that says that samba is not proper to as a style or as a thing to sing and to play and to dance, as it's not elegant, or it's not sophisticated enough, and it's like vulgar, or it says that it's too raw or something.
Okay.
And it's like she has this opinion, and it makes no sense to discuss with her about this, because she doesn't like samba. Talks about this in a funny way.
And how is it to sing it or to practice it? Because
I learned this song from a great singer that lives in Barcelona too. That's Maite Alguacil, and I first knew it from her, and I liked her version very much. And then I started, listening to it, and then I discovered Joao Gilberto's version and some others, and Rosa Passo's version. And then after singing it and putting lyrics, practicing, and at the end, it just works. The lyrics and the music just works, and you have to try to swing it the way the singers do it. It's not jazz swing; it's bossa nova, but it's another type of swing in that way, I would say. And I try to imitate this. I also wasn't born in a jazz country, but I just imitated the sound and I listening to it carefully, and I think listening and imitating is a great part of the work of a musician, to try singing new things.
Yeah, you got a lot of different styles. So as you said, not only jazz. So the latest album released this year was about Brazilian bossa nova.
Yeah.
So you're generally interested in all the different kind of genres, music genre styles?
Yes, well, there are some genres that I never tried and I don't listen a lot. But yes, that's right, that there are many things that I like, and then we don't make a lot of difference, and we just do what we enjoy and what we think it will work with a quintet or with a trio or just with my voice, whatever I think it would be fine. We just organize it. So that's why we do some funk too, some samba, bossa novas. Also, we did some original tunes. Also, in this last album, we did some inspired of Brazilian music originals, and it shows that it's a mixture of Brazilian and jazz, because of course we have some ideas that come more from jazz.
How did you find to jazz?
What?
How did you find jazz? Why are you doing jazz?
So I was in a music school in my neighborhood, and then John Chamorro, the bass player that was playing yesterday, he was teaching saxophone, but also he organized a big band and a combo of jazz, and I happened to start with him, and then he sent me a lot of jazz music, especially oldies from the 20s, 30s, like Dixieland music and swing music. And then I started practicing this, and I liked it, and I.
So it was something like love on the first sight.
Yes, I liked very much to being part of these groups and playing together and swinging and this kind of music in a group. I enjoyed it very much. And then he put me in the San Andreu Jazz Band, the band of children and young people. I've been there for 10 years, and there it's also a half professional big band. And then I also started having this quintet already 10 years ago, and we started recording some albums and playing more and more live. And then I was already kind of working and experiencing the musician life, and then from that on I started working more and more because I had to work. I have job.
Yeah, if someone read about you online, all the articles always said, you start at a very young age, and for jazz musician you're very young. Yeah, you started playing trumpet with 7, right?
Yeah.
But originally you wanted to play a different instrument.
Yes, because I didn't know a lot of instruments at 7, but my father also played trumpet when he was younger, and then he put me in a trumpet lesson because we had a trumpet at home, and then I could change maybe in the future, but I had a good teacher that's named Tony Gallard, and then he was very good with children, and I had fun and I continued.
How is it to practice trumpet at home? Don't you terrorize the neighborhood? Is it too loud?
Not normally. No, normally they were very kind, but sometimes yes, they came and say stop. But then we stopped, and then yes.
What would you say? What's so fascinating about trumpet, playing the instrument?
I think it's very related to the voice, because it's in the tuning and the intonation, and somehow you also do the sound only with your lips, and somehow this vibration, and it's very rude instrument, and very not very sophisticated instrument, but it's very pleasant when you manage to be able to play some melodies. It feels very, very good.
Okay.
It's interesting.
But also, of course, you are singing.
Yeah.
So, but you started to sing after you start to playing trumpet?
Well, yeah, I did some classes after the trumpet lessons, but I always, I think everybody sings before plays, because I've been singing all my life. Since I was a children, I liked singing. So I started singing by my own, and also my parents put me in a choir, in a little choir of the neighborhood, since I was 3 years until 5 or 6. So very young, I had experience singing, and also at school you always sing. So
for what do you practice more? More practice in trumpet or more practice in singing? What
I
would you
sing
say?
all the time, but I practice more consciously trumpet.
Okay. You already mentioned you got a lot of jazz influences. You got from your teacher, you got all the old stuff. Yeah, and also read online that you really love the very old stuff.
Yeah.
What's so fascinating about the original tunes from the 20s, 30s up to the 50s?
Yeah, it feels like it all came from that somehow. And there are many cute melodies, and it makes you move sometimes more than what jazz is nowadays, which is also, I also like it. But I like the touching fact of the oldies, and the melodies that have also a lot in common with pop music, but it was like pop music of that era, from the past. And harmonical movements it makes sense like in pop music nowadays, or it's very clear, and it's, I don't know, it makes you dance, and it's easy, and it sticks in your mind.
Okay.
It's some kind.
And so you would say
easy.
It's a little bit missing in the in the current styles of music.
You ask what's missing?
No, yeah. If you think it's all what you described just makes stick in your head and makes you dancing, so would you say it's a little bit missing in the current style?
There are some modern stuff that also sticks in your head, and it's also very able to sing, but. No, I don't think it's nothing missing, because I like that there are many different things nowadays to choose from, and there are new things going on, and I like very modern albums and modern artists. It's just that I enjoy the oldies as well.
Who's your favorite artist from the old times, and what your favorite artist from the modern times?
From the old times, I first fell in love with a trumpet player, actually cornet player, with Bobby Hackett, old trumpet player. And then from singers, I like very much, Billie Holiday. Lately, I discovered the great Lil Hardin Armstrong, which I also like. And from nowadays, for example, I like very much Cecile McLaurin-Salvant. Of course, I enjoy, and I normally listen to many musicians. Most of the musicians I listen to are in the middle, not from the 20s and not from now, but in the middle. I listen a lot to Freddie Hubbard, Clifford Brown, Charlie Parker. These musicians, of course, are a very important part of jazz. Yeah. And also from nowadays, I like, for example, as a new staff, I like Melissa Aldana, what she's doing nowadays. Also, of course, Cecile. And also, many saxophone players from nowadays are very interesting, and trumpet players too, like Ambrosia Kimusire, or Tom Harrell, or Abishai Cohen, the trumpet player, for example, are instrumentalists that I like very much.
Are you are you taking some kind of inspiration from those artists?
Yes.
To improve yourself, maybe?
Yes, and directions to practice and things to practice, yes, of course. And there are voices from nowadays that a little bit also describe how's the tendency of the contemporary music, and I find it interesting, because then you listen to it and you get influences, and also everybody nowadays and the students, they are inspired by them, and it's very probable, it's very likely that you go to a jam session and you play some tunes by them, or you at least can hear some influences too. And it's, I think we all affect each other when we listen to, or when we like someone.
I heard you got a record collection. Is that true? Very old style CDs, vinyl, whatever.
Yeah, well, I have some, but from my father more.
Okay.
Yes, I don't have a really mine collection, but I'm more in the internet era.
Okay, really.
But yeah, my father have some, and now I always happy when there's some vinyls and when I can listen.
What you say there's a different to listen to music on a physical CD, LP, whatever.
Well, what is very different is that in Spotify or YouTube or Apple Music or whatever, you can go from one to another without going very deep to artist or album or song. But that's why what older generations say, that when they only had a few vinyls a year, they would listen to it and read the whole thing of that it said hundreds of times, and you would go way deeply, and you would understand differently the artwork of the album.
Yeah.
And that's why, but I'm not doing it very much because I also have a lot of possibilities with internet nowadays, and I grew up with this, and I also do this thing of going from one thing to the other a lot. And what it's missing then, at least to me, is that I don't remember that much information. I listen to music, but I don't. Sometimes you don't know who's playing in that album. You don't know what's the name of this song. You don't know what year is this album from, and this kind of things. Sometimes all the generations, to me, know it better.
I asked regarding the record collection, because in this case I'm very old-fashioned. I've got a huge record collection. I've got about 400 CDs or more,
wow.
Whatever. It's an amazing, crazy amount of money you spend in this shit. But I also recognize, because for a couple of years I had I could not put it in my room, the record collection.
Wow.
So for a couple of years I had not access to it. And since last year I could build it up again, so now I can take my whole CDs. Yeah, and I totally can agree, because that's what I found out. Do you listen to music in a different way? If it's just digital, just as MP3 files, or just on YouTube, Spotify, because it's a different kind of listening, instead of really taking the CD and put it in the CD player and really say, okay, now for the next 30 minutes, 1 hour, whatever the album is, enjoying the music, and it's different kind of listening to it.
Yes, and also sometimes in internet you even cannot find some of the information that in the albums you can find. The most important information, all the artists are always there, all the year of recording, where was it recorded, and the level, the line notes of the album. But sometimes on internet, even if you find for it,
it comes now, also thanks to Wikipedia, a lot of Wikipedia articles about the LPs, for example. Yeah, and I think also the difference is that, at least in the past, before the internet era, I think the whole album was also a concept of a whole piece of work, a whole piece of art. So not only the songs in a certain order, that's and of course the packaging, the cover, for example.
Yeah, you think about an order when you do an album, and that's what it's missing sometimes when you just listen to the single, or you just listen to the new video clip, or when you go from one song to the other, from one year to another. Yes, it's missing a little bit this idea. It's true.
And that's so much focus on just the single song. So even an album can very good, even if there maybe single songs were not that good as a best song on this album, but it doesn't matter, because it's a whole package that counts in that moment. And you spoke about the order. How is it for you itself? How much effort do you put in recording your own albums, and then taking care of the cover, taking care of the order of the songs, whatever? Yeah,
so at the beginning I did my albums together with Joan Chamorro, because we had a bunch of albums together, and we did some illustration of a friend of us, did a drawing of us, and some others we just did, friends. It was in the beginning, it was more like photograph friends that organized it, more or less. I never planned a cover that really means, deeply something like the music to me. Because also the last albums I'm with Universal, and also they have a team that takes care of the cover image. They have photographers that are into the aesthetics or the mood of jazz and this kind of little levels like impulse and verve that we just recorded with, and they have this background of these levels, and they
probably I just could imagine, of course, but maybe regarding the album cover, for example, they also have to take care to have it on a small screen, on a small square, on Spotify playlist. So maybe it also changed a little bit, and saying, okay, from promotional perspective, we have to maybe choose this picture instead of this picture.
Yes. So the last one, for example, I like it more than the one before because it's more bright and it's more colorful, and it's also it's not sad. The one before, I find it a little bit dark and black, and it's not really my favorite, but anyway, we put that one. But I took, of course, care of the music, especially in this album. But yes, it maybe will come one day when I will, put more effort into the cover too. Yeah. I'm very sincere, Normally you have to say yes, of course. I plan it all, but not really.
Why not? How do you choose the songs you're recording on?
I'm very instinctive in this sense. I'm not really mathematic person, or it has not a norm, or I don't know. It has not a way of choosing it. To me, for example, if it comes an idea of a kind of recording, for example, what I like is, for this last album, I liked the idea of putting the whole thing under an umbrella of one topic, and it was the Brazilian music, for example. This is more or less the first time I think we did something specific work on one direction, but then once I had the idea, because I knew some songs I would like to record, and I knew some ideas about this, then it stays in your mind, and day after day, and the new songs you're listening to, or the new songs you're playing, and what you are composing, you can put it under this umbrella, and then I keep taking ideas and notes, and this song I would like to do that. I would like to do a version of this one, but in this other way, or ideas of doing songs I like differently, and then afterwards you have to choose the best and what fits better, and then of course the order for me is also important, because I like that you put on a player and an album, and you enjoy it, that the next song pleases you, that it's not just another boring same thing.
You can try to play a little bit with the mood, of course, with the audience, with the listener. So if you have a fast song, or then you can say, okay, and this partner I want to turn into a smaller, not so fast, a little bit less tempo.
Yes, when I do the order of an album, more or less I think of the same when I do a live show. Although when we play a live show, especially if it's a quintet and a regular group and music, if it's not a very specific and different show, and then I normally, as I did yesterday, I normally change during the show, because I feel like, okay, now I prefer keeping stay one more in the Brazilian, or I prefer to change the mood now, or I prefer to go to a swing song and start again, or I prefer to go deeply to a long and more minor song, something. I change during the show because you feel different sometimes, how it went different normally, and also you can feel from the audience if they liked it more or not, and then you can change it during the show. But for the albums, of course, you cannot change it, but you plan it before. But for me, it's the same idea, and the only thing I try to think when I do the order is not to go in one direction more or the opposite, but I try to think what would please me more after this one. You know, what would make me feel better, and somehow how would I enjoy more?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like more that everything goes and it's chilling. You know.
Okay, I can relate so far because I'm a little bit older than you. Because when I grew up, there were still tapes to make a mixtape, and it's really is the same. So not only putting the songs on a tape, but to see a little bit, what fits better, what song fits better after the first song, and so on.
And the two sides, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very old times.
No, come on. I also listened to that when I was little. Tapes.
So coming back to the record, to the album, so you would recommend your fans to listen to the original album instead of just random songs from Spotify or from YouTube?
You mean from my album or others?
For example, yeah, or in general.
Yes. I mean, when sometimes I'm not very strict in this kind of things too. I think everybody can do whatever they like, and you can take different good things from both things. Because, for example, I think it's very good to have access to so many music. I think it has a great part too. And what I do is, for example, when I want to discover things that I'm curious, when I'm just curious in something, I write whatever I am interested, and then I might listen to the most popular song, or I might listen to some title that interests me, or I go from one to the other. If I don't like one, I change, and I don't have any order. But of course, if I know an artist, for example, Melissa Aldana, I follow her, and I've seen some live shows and videos, the whole thing. And of course, if she is doing a new album, I listen to it all because I'm interested in how she did the whole thing, as if it would be a suite. Or Wynton Marsalis, for example, he writes a suite, so I will try to have time to listen the whole suite, because otherwise you're just taking a part of it. So you can be interested in you can be just curious and just having a bit of it, or you can really want to get it all and then listen to the whole thing.
Would you say that's it's an approach? You're doing this way because you're a musician, so you got a different approach on music in general as, for example, the normal fan, the normal listener?
No,
or would you say it's maybe a little bit old-fashioned style of listen music this way?
No, I think that I do it as a listener, and that many listeners, I guess, they do that because, for example, even if you love pop music, if you know someone put out a single and a video clip, and you just go and find it and listen to it. But if you're a big fan of some pop idol, if a new album comes out, probably you will listen to it all. So that's more or less what I do. Same thing, but in jazz.
Yeah, okay, maybe. Yeah, because on Spotify, for example, Spotify totally changed the kind of music, the style of music.
Because they are playlists.
And for example, the playlist, and because, let's say, the normal listener who's not a fan, only listen to the very first second. So now producers put everything which is important in the song in the first 30 seconds, so that they get the attention from the song, that they stay interested in the song. And the rest of the song, the rest 3 minutes, doesn't make any difference from the very first 30 seconds. So that's more or less the style now in modern pop music.
Yeah, that happens here also. Yes, I know there are so many different ways of listening to music, or especially not listening to music, because I think that some kind of playlist and things like this, as you said, people sometimes only listen to the beginning and then they change, but I think so many people use music as a background music, for doing sports, for cooking, or for studying or staying at home. Sometimes, but there are also listeners that really learn the song. So I don't know. There are so many ideas, and I'm not really into pop music business, so I don't know.
Yeah. How would you describe the business. So especially, sorry for the cliche, but as a young person, so how is it for producing music and producing jazz, especially as a person under 30 years old?
No, I'm very lucky because I have the chance to work with Universal, and before we did the albums in our own level. We create the level together with John Chamorro and my father, and we put which is something more or less easy that many people does nowadays, and we put our albums out with this level. And nowadays with Universal, the good part of it is that I have completely freedom to ask for the music, even with Universal. And then I don't know a lot of the music business, but I just do however I like it. And I also have a lot of experience in live playing concerts, and then you can have some idea of what is a good length of a song. And of course, when we record, we do it a little bit shorter. And these kind of things, I know it from the beginning, but not a lot more.
Yeah, you said on record you're doing it shorter. Is it right? I got the feeling yesterday that on some songs you put in a lot of instrumental parts. So maybe not original on the album, but for the live concert, you stretch the songs for more instrumental?
In live shows?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, are you asking or you noticed it?
Both.
Okay.
Asking if I'm right with my impression from yesterday.
Well, yes, because for example in the album we may play half chorus and half chorus, and in live maybe we play 3 choruses in total, because we do we change quite a lot from the album because it evolves after some times playing it. Sometimes, for example, I don't play a solo originally, but I suddenly learn it, and then I want to play a solo too, and then we do it a little bit longer. Yeah, I mean, I like to play a little bit longer solos in live concerts because we are instrumentalists. We like to improvise, and that's also more interesting for us to play concerts live if we have this opportunity to improvise and to make it more different all the time. Yeah, I think people appreciate it too. I mean, that's not theoretically, because people theoretically likes more vocal jazz and melodies, but I think in live shows actually people enjoys that something gets longer and grows with the music and the power. Sometimes the energy goes up sometimes, and people can feel it even if they are not even jazz fans. But I think people like the interaction, and this happens a lot with improvisation. And I noticed that in live shows, these not jazz fan people, they also enjoy this.
So let's say
these instrumental parts. I guess.
So you would say music as a universal language, everybody can understand.
Yes, well, I think that there are many languages, in music, because jazz can be a language itself, and classical music another, and different styles are like different languages. And of course, you understand more, or you can get more out of it when you have been listening it more. This style, like a language, but also you can enjoy without understanding too, because you may enjoy very much a bebop tune, even if for you it's just a crazy phrase and you don't get the intervals very well. But, it's interesting.
We already talked a little bit about the music business. How much important is social media for you and for the business now?
I think it's very important nowadays, and I think many of the people that knows us through YouTube, for example. And I also spend quite a lot of time as a musician, which is not my job, but I do a lot of social media, because I go different places, and at the end you have the access to the people who want to see you, because for example here in Berlin, the radio, you have the audience of Berlin, for example. But I have to use other media to play in Barcelona, and I have let's say the power of my channel, that everybody who is interested in my things will follow, and then I do my best to get people know that where I'm playing and where they can see us live, because also I enjoy very much playing live, and for me it's very important, even more than recording. nowadays.
Okay.
This is also maybe old-fashioned, but I like playing live. I think it makes you evolve a lot too. And of course, we love recording, but I would like to keep my job this way and to be able to play, go to different places and travel, and I like it. And then to try to do my best to keep it. I also publish it, and try to that everybody knows that I not everybody, but the people who is interested and follows the channel, that they get to know my gigs, and of course to upload new material that we are doing sometimes, or some videos and things like this.
Of course, it's one thing to discover a musician, for example, to discover you on YouTube and to see you on YouTube, but also to know that as a fan you got the chance to see it live.
Yes, that's what I like as a music consumer, and that's what I when I think of a new album or a live show or what I publish or not. Normally, my guides are what I would like to see. For a new show, for example, I think what I would like to see, and if I like very much some musicians, for example, I met some guitar players during these years that I really was very impressed from them. And when I was thinking of a new project, I thought about a Guitar Storm project, and I invited them all from Chile, from New York, and then we did a project of guitar players, and they did some arrangements, and of course I was singing and playing, but also people could enjoy very much these great artists. And I always think of what I would like to see in a live show, and what is missing somehow. When you see in Barcelona what's going on, what you cannot find, or what is missing, or what would you like to see. For example, the big samba jazzy groups of 10 people that we are, and that we will be the 20 November in the live presentation of this album.
Okay.
That we haven't done it yet. We will do this next month. And this is something that is not very easy to find in Barcelona, for example. But I would love to go to a show where there are Brazilian musicians and jazz musicians, and they play this kind of mixture. And I think of things I would like to see. And yeah, that was related to the show. What was the question? I got lost.
We could also go to another topic. No. What else? What do you do except for music?
What?
Except for music.
What do you
besides music, do you have any hobbies, interests?
Yes, I like reading. Lately I'm reading, also biographies or essays.
Okay.
Also, lately I read Hulebeck, for example, that I liked.
Okay, but that's really serious stuff.
Yes.
Which one?
The Serotonino, for example.
Which one? What is in English?
Serotonin, I think.
Sorry, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
This one, I like this one, for example. And, different kind of readings. But I also, I like good eating and trying to cook.
Yeah.
Everything I like.
Okay. No, because
some sports. I'm starting with tennis and golf and surfing.
Golf. Okay.
Because of my friend is very sporty, and he makes me learn.
And how's your handicap so far?
What?
Handicap. Golf handicap?
No. What is this? No.
The golf handicap. How many attempts do you need to put the ball in the hole?
No, I'm only practicing my
to hit.
Yeah, to hit.
Okay, I see.
Just starting.
Yeah.
The same with tennis. I don't still play a match, but I only start practicing.
Okay. No, because I'm asking about your hobbies, because on your Instagram account, so we're again on social media, you can see pictures of you with dance and ballet.
Yeah.
And with surfing.
Yes. I'm starting with surfing and ballet. I did a lot. I did all my life, more or less. I did ballet, and it's actually my favorite sport. But I don't perform, of course. But I just like it as a training, and I enjoy it very much. It's my second passion, and I would like, I would love, I think, working harder and being a dancer. I would love that. But I had two things to choose, and I did music, and I'm happy about this too.
Okay. First of all, the question: how much time do you can spend besides the music and those
yes, nowadays
interests?
every day less, but I'm still in a classes in Barcelona, and I go from time to time. But now I would like to start and find a place to start in Vienna, to train there, because I'm a lot in Vienna too, and I will start there. I think these days probably. And also I'm very interested in, nowadays one of my hobbies is to do things myself.
Okay.
And also I go finding places where to buy without package and things like this, for the environment.
Yeah.
To try going into a more zero waste lifestyle. I consider this a hobby because this takes you a lot of time. This takes you a lot of time of reading, of even going shopping way far. It's a walking, it's so it takes you time, and it's what's the name for that? Not a routine, but a ceremony.
Okay, interesting.
Because then you have to spend your time. It's not like fast shopping. It takes time to find a place, to find what's better, to do it yourself, to organize your shopping list. It's kind of practical hobby.
Okay, interesting. But there's also some kind to I don't know, educating yourself, to improve yourself, some kind of character building. Yes,
that's right. I mean, it makes me happy. So that's also a characteristic of a hobby.
Yeah.
That makes you happy, and living consciously. I try, so somehow it makes you learn and makes you happy, and yes, it can influence others. Also, I feel I'm supporting people who's also into it, because if you buy in another place, you're supporting these people, and also you do more relations with these people, for example, and sometimes you know new friends, and it's a way of living somehow.
So I think it's also more interesting than just shopping online.
Yes.
So
I never shop online.
Never?
No.
Okay. And again, about surfing, of course, I can imagine surfing also a hobby that can not be done so easily. So, of course, you need the right environment, you need the right weather, on, and something.
Well, surfing,
for example, in Berlin, it's quite difficult to surf.
Yes, I can imagine. Surfing, my friend is really into surfing since ever, and I'm just starting, and it's not really, I still don't consider it my hobby, like very hard hobby, but it's something I do with my friend, and we do it together, and yes, it's something I'm starting with, I'm starting to experience. And even if it's hard to me, both windsurfing and wave surfing, it's hard, and I cannot really do it very well, but I enjoy the time. It's also a ceremony, because you go to the lake, you have your stuff. Normally we organize some days of doing that. So these holidays, these summer holidays, we were in Greece, and we spent some days almost exclusively to learn surf and to be close to the beaches, and then it's also a ceremony.
Not bad. Yeah, what would you say, how good are you so far surfing?
Just beginner.
Okay.
In both, I'm just beginner.
But do you have your own board, or do you always have to rent it?
I have a board from my friend that I have at home, so I can use it as mine. But I don't have really a mine, and when I go to other places, I sometimes rent it.
How is about the surfing situation in Barcelona?
These last days were amazing, because it was a very strong storm, and it led to a very high waves.
Okay.
Well, quite high for being the Mediterranean Sea.
Yeah.
And it was very funny.
Can you already ride them?
I just went to see them, because I had some friends, and I didn't ride this time, but I went to see some surfers, and I for what I saw, I think it was difficult, because they were fast, and almost anybody could get them, could ride them. But it was interesting that it was very good for this. But normally in Barcelona, the wind days, there are some windsurfers, but not many wave surfers.
Okay.
Of course, it's like a lake. It works more like a lake.
Yeah.
Like in Vienna, when you go to the Neusiedler Sea or some lakes, or under a bridge in the Donau, you can also windsurf.
Okay, interesting. So maybe for next shows you can find the right locations where you can not only playing in jazz bars but also doing surfing,
yes,
right?
but that's what I say, that I'm not really into it, and I don't do it a lot. I do it with friends, but with my friend especially, but not by my own that much. If he would be here, he would explain you way more and way better.
Okay.
Next time we go together, maybe. Beginning.
Why not? Yeah, you were also talking about touring. You were also, I think, in December in Japan, Tokyo.
Oh yeah.
How was that?
But you mean the last time we were in Japan? Touring.
Yeah. Touring, yeah.
Yes, we went last time. I think it was this April.
April, okay.
Yeah, but also December. Yeah, 2 years ago, something like this. We spent Christmas. In Japan, which was interesting, yeah.
Because it's not a Christian culture. So
yes.
how is Christmas?
They organized some big meal for the Christmas evening, but was all sushi.
Okay.
But we enjoyed it very much.
Yeah.
Also, we are not religious, any of us. Well, not. I don't know any of us, but at least me. I'm not religious. And the quintet, we are very chilling. It's not very into religion. It's just tradition to be with a family, but we have no problem of not doing that, and being together is another family for us. And we enjoyed the time there.
Did you play it on Christmas Eve?
Yes, okay. But there in Japan they celebrate it more or less like a Valentine's Day, like a couples day.
Okay.
Which is really different. Cool. And actually this year we will spend Christmas in Israel, which also they don't celebrate. Will be also different.
Not celebrating?
No. They told us that not Christmas.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't know that too.
Christmas, totally Christian thing, so of course,
yes. Yes, I wasn't sure, but they don't celebrate it, they said. And yes, and let's see what happens there. I think there's another thing going on these days. Another tradition for these days they have. With some kind of
normally,
donuts.
of course, they're celebrating Hanukkah.
Yes,
I think
Hanukkah, exactly.
For 7 days or something like this.
I didn't
sorry
know
if
that,
I'm not.
We will discover
it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So but we don't do a proper tour of some days and countries and then stopping. We are always, on the road, and whatever it's booked. I mean, we say our 3 days, and if it's booked, and if not, we have accidental holidays. So we rarely book a long period of holidays.
Okay.
We do it over the going. Over the
how many concerts do you give in a year, average?
Some years we did a lot, like 2 every 3 days almost, which is a lot. But normally, I guess we must do 1 every 3 days. And this year probably we played less, because also we wanted to have more time, and we also had quite different projects this year, and we needed more time to rehearse and to write it and to plan the things. We also booked some holidays, so at the end we must play 2 or 3 times a week maximum, I think.
And for example, now this weekend was yesterday on Saturday a concert, now today the next show. Also to play 2 shows in a row?
Yeah, we do it all the time.
Okay.
Yes, it's quite normally, but also I like it more when we can stay longer in one place, because it pays for the sound. For example, you get used to it, and in the old days they would program in a club for months sometimes. Yeah. And it was cool to build up some strength with the quintet or with the group. And yes, it's always nice because you get used to the place and not going every time in a different situation and sound and everything. So I like it very much, and also because we don't have to travel, and also because we don't have to move from your room. You can stay 3 nights in a hotel, which is good. It feels more like home than only 1 night every time. And also because you can visit or do other things in the city and not traveling. That I like, economizing the traveling. Also because of ecology nowadays, you have to take care, I think, of that.
So do you think it's important to have this conscious with all this ecological debate we've got right now on the day? So you take care of it. You try to pay attention.
Well, I try all my best, but even even I think I produce more CO2 than any people in the world almost, because we are travel so hard. So I cannot say, because I try to be very conscious, or I am very conscious probably, but the jobs we have and the places we wanna play and the system how it works nowadays, people could get offended if they invite me to play here and I say, okay, I need 3 days, to arrive, or I have to go by car or by train, or if you do things complicated, or you need to stop in a hotel between. I'm not also in this position, because people will hire another one also. So it's really complicated. But I think just being conscious and just trying the little things that depend on you to do this. For me, it's fundamental. And if I'm very guilty of traveling a lot with planes and using a lot of planes, yes, when I can choose, I always choose the other options. Yeah. So
of course, one argument, of course, it takes a little bit longer, so not everybody can take a boat and a ship from the whole Atlantic in 2 weeks.
I never did that. But for example, when you play in Spain, you can go to Madrid by plane or by train, and we always we always choose high speed trains. It maybe takes a little bit longer, but at the end it's more or less the same. Yeah. These kind of things that takes you the same, and it makes no difference, and normally for the prices the same. These kind of things make sense to me. And organizing. But for example, here we could have done one gig yesterday and one gig into 3 or 4 months. But I like playing both in a row because it saves time for everyone, and it's good. It feels good and makes sense.
How do you choose the gigs? So do we have the opportunity in general to choose different countries and to say, okay, we make something like a world tour, whatever, to
Not really,
make a route?
But I would like to go this direction, and I think this is how it used to work. Also very successful people or pop musicians, I think they plan it this way. They really select the places they want to play. But how we do it, also in a jazz world, I think very few people can do that. Nowadays, people books you. In our case, the programmers and the festivals and the theaters, they ask us to play. And then if it fits in our schedule, we do it, and if it not. But then it happens that we have so many different. And of course, I like, and I try to work out sometimes to play nearby when we go to a place. But it takes a lot of time also, and it's not my first job. I should care more of the music. And then it's always it's a good question, because it's all a tricky thing, and I would love to have a team to work in that direction, but it's not always easy. And also we have a very good international manager, but he works alone for the moment, and this is also a great more job to do if you want try to do things around. And it's not the easiest way to either earn money or whatever. It's only for pleasure, let's say, and so it's not easy. But for example, one thing that we decided nowadays is not to play in another continent for one gig. That's one thing we decided. But at least we try to do more, and that's what we try more and more these days. To go to another continent and then organize more gigs around, and that makes this is for me important, because so it's a lot of many days to go there, to go back, and makes sense.
So far, did you play it on every continent so far?
Not Oceania.
Which one?
Oceania. Australia.
Australia, okay.
We haven't played in Australia, no.
But that's still on your list to do?
The what?
On your to-do list? To play once in Australia?
Yes. Well, yes. I would love, of course. Yes.
What was so far the most impressive city or country you visited on your tour?
Well, this is difficult to say, but Japan, for example, I love going to Japan. It's always a pleasure, and also the organizational works very well. The food is incredible. Everything is very interesting. I would like to go to Brazil, especially touring this new album.
Yeah.
It would be a dream also to perform this music there. That would be very, very interesting, because the last time and the only time we played there, which was many years ago, when we played some Brazilian standards, they all know it and they all sing it, and that was very beautiful.
Okay, interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. What's up next?
What?
What's up next? With touring and recording, maybe?
Yes, we did this new project of guitar players, the Guitar Storm, and this was a big, thing, and we did it some days ago. And now, next we are working, because this end of the year, there's the Barcelona Jazz Festival, and they chose me as a portrait artist, and I have to do 5 gigs, different gigs in Barcelona. So we already did 2, but we are still working on the other 3. And one is a big band, which I'm only a side musician, but it's a very interesting project. But the other 2 are really projects that I have to work on and build up. One is the presentation of the album, album release date, with Brazilian musicians and all the guests in the album, which is a big party. It will be a big party in a very beautiful place, the Palau de la Música in Barcelona, the 20th November. And the other thing that we are rehearsing right now, that we were just rehearsing here and using all our time to put together, is a new project that's called The Art of the Quintet. And it's all original music of all the members of this quintet that we've been playing for 10 years now. And it was, each one of us made 3 originals, and we are starting to put and rehearse it and learn it. And then it will be the first concert we play all original music, and all music written by us, and the lyrics and everything. And it will be very interesting, because it can be added afterwards to the regular set list.
Okay.
And also it can lead to us to compose more or something. It was a project that I wanted to do, because nowadays we love to do versions and covers, but nowadays it's very valued, the original music. And even if it's music in the old style too, like there are many styles. There's some funk, there's some, blues and things like this, and old traditional classic jazz. There's also some more modern things, but it's the same mood we play in the concerts, but in original music, which is interesting, and that's what we are working in now. What's
the challenge to create your own music, to composite your own music?
Yes.
Where's the challenge?
I've done it before, because the last 2 albums it has some original music, but what is very new is that each one of us did music, the composition, not only me, but everyone. And for some of them, it was like the first time in so many years that they composed it, and they did it specifically for this quintet, for this group, and how they liked it, and and it's interesting, because also I thought if maybe the mood of the show would be different of the others because of this original music, maybe it changed it a little bit. But at the end, I feel like we got so much inspired by the mood of the shows, and we just created songs that fit very well in our concerts, which is also cute. It's nice, because it will feel comfortable, I think. But on the other side, it's interesting, because how the audience will react to the all original stuff, that they cannot recognize any standard or things like this. And for us also to play our music, it will feel special. That's a challenge, I think. Also to make proper arrangements, and to this new music that has never been played before, and that is just new, added to the concert. Sometimes it's cool when you have played it a little bit before, But as a concert of all new stuff, it will be challenging to play it like solid.
What's your approach on creating your own songs? So I know some musicians are first making the music, some musicians are first writing the lyrics. So what's your approach?
I normally think of a melody, and I have a harmony more or less in my head, but then I have my problem. Well, I have my challenge to find it also because I'm not playing any harmony instrument. So that's, I think, why I started with melodies, because I play trumpet and singing, and that's what I do in my group. And then I start with this. Then sometimes I do the lyrics, and then I find the harmonies that are in my head, and then sometimes I do an arrangement, or it's normally for me it comes all together. But the most clear thing, or the thing I can write or I can sing right after, is the melody. Mm-hmm. And then I start finding the sound and writing it down.
Okay, because I think it was your first debut album. There's
the what?
Your first album,
mm-hmm.
Emotional Dance. I think there's a song about orang-utans.
Yes.
About apes.
Yes, it has no lyrics.
Yeah, it's an instrumental number. But what was the title? Save the orang-utans.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So that was some kind, just a silly title, or was it some kind of a political message?
Well, both, because this song I thought about somehow hard bop music. Mm. I get inspired, I think, from Art Blakey and this kind of music. The Messengers, the old Messengers, I guess, for this kind of music. It also has unconsciously a little bit of flamenco, maybe, but not a lot. Yeah, but some people says that. And then I did the melody and the kicks and the harmonies. And then, yes, I didn't have a name at the beginning, but also when we recorded that, and also when we played that, it sometimes, to me, it always felt like a jungle a little bit. Okay. This kind of hard bop with horn and instrumental, and I liked it like powerful, and it felt like savage in jungle. And I thought of it, and then I read about the danger of the orangutan, and I thought, why not be this song that has no title and feels of power, Save the Orangutan. I felt it matched perfectly, but it was like a joke in the beginning, and we always made it a joke. But at the end, when we recorded it, it also at the end of the recording of the track, you can hear the trumpet does a little bit of tee, and I felt this is the orangutan. Okay, it has to be like this. It has to stay the name. You can hear the orangutan at the end of the song.
How do you decide, for example, in this case, how do you decide to write lyrics to a song or to let it instrumental?
Sometimes I start. All of them, especially in this album, started with a feeling of an instrumental song, and especially because I think more of a trumpet player. I think when I write a song, and then I just do this, and my thing to how I thought it was like, okay, if it can be sung, I try to put lyrics on it. But for example, this one has some fast parts and some things that are more for a trumpet player or saxophone player, and I thought it should really stay this way, because of course it's possible to sing, but I don't think it would have this power. And for me, the most important is the music, that it sounds properly. And of course, for example, I didn't tell them why it's one song that I sing, but it could be instrumental. To me, it could work instrumental very well, I guess. But I think I can sing it, so I will try it. And at the end, I like it vocal too. So,
If you're when you're creating new songs and producing new album, you're also thinking about how the songs will be on stage, and do you try to compose songs that will be fit for live concert?
Yeah, normally, yes. Well, I think I do it automatically because it's what I normally perform and what I normally play. Yes, I guess I don't compose anything that I cannot play or that it would be impossible to do with a quintet, because I really compose thinking of the quintet somehow, or at least I arrange it for the quintet,
Now you're mentioning your quintet. Just men. How is it to be the only girl in the band?
I started like this 10 years ago, and at the beginning it felt very much like the student and the teachers, because not for them, because for me, because I could not play very much, and they were very professional, so it felt like this. But also they are men that always treat me like an equal, and they always make me feel very empowered and good and able to do the things. And now it feels very natural because I've been playing like this for 10 years. So I cannot say.
Okay. I hope, how's the mood and when you got touring and you stay so much together in a different country?
They are somehow like my best friends, and it's a lot of fun because I don't know, it's very funny. We understand, or we know each other very well for the good and for the bad.
Yeah.
But I like it. I just like this company. The company of them. It's not very. They are not. For example, they are very healthy people.
Mm-hmm.
They are sporty. Some of them are very sporty, and no one is smoking. Even no one is drinking a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
There's a beer lover, but from time to time. But that's all. And for me, this is very. I'm very thankful for that because I think touring with healthy people, especially if you are spending so much time out of home, it really makes you good. And they are also very interested in politics. We talk about different topics that are interesting, and of music, of course. And I think I've grown very much with them and with their ideas, and I feel good. And also they are very funny too. And we are from the same place, which also is like we have the same sense of humor.
Okay.
Or probably we just get used to each other, and it's very good.
Something like a marriage.
Maybe of 5 people.
Yeah.
Yes, no, really. I'm excited to go touring with all of them, because also there's the confidence point where you are so used to each other that you don't have any problems anymore of I don't know how to say it, but you're very confident of traveling, and also we can believe in each other because we know we will help each other in any problem. I'm very accompanied, and each of us is, and we like going eating together, and we get used to each other, and it's just like feels very good.
Fine. How is it to come home after being on tour so long?
Also feels very good to be alone or to be at home after a while. I am always excited also to come back. Also, I have all my family in Barcelona, and I always like to see the grandparents of my mother, my sister, and everybody.
Fine. So, what do you expect from the concert today?
I expect we will change a little bit the songs of yesterday, but it will be the same climate, I think. But hopefully, maybe, I don't know, a little bit more energy. I will go for a little bit more energy. And yes, I don't know. Let's see.
Okay, we talked so long, we totally ignored the alcohol.
Yeah, but what is this?
Let me look, I've got this nice...
And this, can I have this?
Yeah, this of course, yeah. Yeah, first one, this one is a Duke's Slow Fashioned. It's with Ron Zacapa.
Now you have to put this here and then...
Yeah, that's rum. And
what
you put
is
it, that's rum.
Oh.
And you pour it on top with, I think here's vanilla. And then it pours down into the glass.
Wow, this is very interesting.
Yeah. Do we want to try?
Yeah,
we try it. At least it looks very cool. So now we have to wait how it tastes.
This is orange, right?
Yeah.
The one.
But it's already smelling. Okay, the sounds reminds me of something that you will not connect with food.
Okay. That's right.
Okay. Yeah, and the other stuff is Negroni Flight. So that's Negroni It's a mixture. I'm just reading this table. It's a mixture of Tanqueray 10, Campari, and red vermouth. Okay. So and that was in a barrel, and that was 3 weeks in a barrel, 6 weeks in a barrel, and 9 weeks in a barrel. So it's getting older and older with every glass.
No, it's different each.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to try something?
Yeah, right.
Make the first, because I don't want to drink on my own.
This one is the lower.
Yeah, that's the youngest, that's the oldest, so like we. Yeah.
Salud.
Salud.
Okay. Wow, I like it.
Yeah.
This is very good.
Not that much alcohol.
No. It reminds me of sauna.
What?
Sauna.
Okay. What is it?
The sauna, the space of the...
Ah, the sauna.
Yeah.
Sorry, okay, I thought of an English term.
Flavor.
Yeah. So, and now the other stuff here.
Yes.
Do you want to make first?
Okay. Let's try this. Wow. It's also very soft.
Okay. Yeah, not bad.
And the fruit is
at least it tastes better as it sounded when you poured. Okay, so far I would say, do we have any last famous words?
No. This next year, I'm pretty sure we will record another album, but we're not sure what will be it about. Let's see.
Okay.
I think by the end of this year, I will know.
Maybe songs with album with German songs for the next project.
One day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
At least I started with yesterday, Mag the Knife, the first one.
Yeah. maybe next time you're in Berlin, maybe you find time to go in the theater to watch Brecht, because here Berlin Ensemble was his theater.
Yeah.
We showed it on the original.
Okay, yes. Next time I will go.
Why not? Okay, so far, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Yeah, and enjoy the evening today.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.